stealing is keeping you broke even though you think you're saving money. You probably know those people. This could be you, this could be your friends. You go in a random store, a Walmart for example, and you steal stuff. Maybe you decided to swap the tags on a piece of meat, and now you bought it for $1 instead of 40. Does that sound familiar? I've heard of all kinds of ways to get items for cheaper or for free at a store. Usually that involves some form of stealing. Now, it might not be a big deal, or you're probably not costing the company too much money or profit loss. That's not the point here. Thing is, you think it costs you nothing. You think it's free. Or you probably think, well, because of the associated risk, you're technically paying in risk. Sure, fair enough. But you're still paying. And it's not risk that I'm talking about. You are still paying with your future. This keeps you in a cycle of being broke. Because instead of focusing on making more money so that you're able to afford those things that you want to get or that you need, maybe it's food, you're instead focused on stealing it. Naturally, you remove that need to create more money so that you could accommodate for that. Here's an example. Imagine you're really thirsty and you want a lot of water. You could chug down an entire bottle immediately. But you're given a small drip of water that's sufficient enough to hydrate you essentially, but not sufficient enough to satisfy your thirst. So what ends up happening is you still stay thirsty and you think you're getting somewhere by getting that slow drip of water because technically it sustains you. Another example I could give is a person who decides to start going to the gym. Who makes the biggest transformations? Is it the person who naturally from birth or genetically had a decent body, they're somewhat fit? Or the person who had the absolute worst start? They were either extremely skinny or extremely overweight. Who makes the larger transformation? Obviously, it's the person who started at a lower level because they had a greater need for that particular result. And the person who had a decent body to start with doesn't actually get into that much of a great shape because there's no need to. They're okay. They're decent. This is the same thing when it comes to going to a store and trying to steal stuff. You remove the stimulus that makes you want to push harder at what you're doing to make more money. That's the problem. Of course, I do understand the kind of times we're living. If you're in the US or you're living in Canada, you're probably experiencing insane inflation. They might report low numbers of inflation, but realistically, it's like double on some things every year. So yes, the cost of living is increasing and you might be thinking, well, I'm going to get back at them. I'm just going to steal. I'm no longer going to buy their shit because it's so expensive. I'm just going to steal it instead. So then you continue to survive at the level you were originally. You deciding to steal essentially compensates for the fact that there's inflation. Whatever your reason is, it's somewhere in that ballpark. That's exactly what I'm talking about. If the cost of living increased, that should drive you to want to make money even more. That's a good thing. You might think this is crazy to say this, that inflation is a good thing. Well, no, in general, it's a bad thing for most people. But if you're out here trying to make money or trying to get successful, trying to get rich, inflation is just another motivator. It's basically just another thing that's going to motivate you to not have to worry about inflation in the future because you're going to escape it. It doesn't matter if the price of cereal was $5 and now it's $15. Who cares? It's almost all the same anyway. Here's the thing. The people who are looking for coupons, deals, the best time of the year to buy something, they're not much better off. They're not that far from the people who just steal it upright. So here's something that I encountered the other day when I was going to the store. So I was just buying something quick. I bought one item. I don't remember what it was, but I was buying it and I wanted to get out. What ended up happening is when I approached to the cash, there was a line of people. Fair enough, there's a line of people. I hate waiting in lines. This is the most useless waste of time. But in this case, it was unavoidable. I probably should have went at a better time. So I stood there, and the lady in front of me was causing an insane buildup of people. She was causing the slowness, right? It's always the people that have the coupons and then they start arguing with the cashier. Hey, well, this is supposed to be on discount. Hey, that's from the other aisle. Whatever they decide to talk about. I don't care about that. But I was just observing how she spent 10-15 minutes arguing with the cashier, going through every single item and making sure every single coupon is applied and making sure that she understands every single item on her receipt. And in the end, she saved what? $20? She went through this entire ordeal to save $10-20? Even if it was $50. Who cares? It's not a big deal. The bigger deal is that while I stood there, I realized she is so good at what she does. She's actually spent so much time learning the coupon system that she knows it pretty much better than the cashier. She had a point there. She was good at that, but it's not a good thing overall. I thought if she just invested all this time into something that's going to make her more money, she wouldn't have to go through any of this. And she would actually come out on top of that. Because what is the actual opportunity cost when it comes to spending all this time on a coupon or a discount? Think about it. She might have only saved $20, and that energy was reallocated repeatedly, just like she repeatedly seeks out these coupons. How much money would that actually make her instead? I'm pretty sure it would be more than $20. In fact, I guarantee it would be much more than $20. Saving money is for the poor people. If you want to stay poor and broke, you want to be a brokey, as some people say it, save money. That's the best way to not get anywhere. The people who actually generate money, they have cash flow, that's the people that don't save money. They don't worry about the cost of things. They don't worry about saving $2. I mean, take a look at it. Nobody ever saves themselves rich. That doesn't work. You're going to invest your money in the S&P 500 and maybe 40 years later you're going to have $1 million in the bank. Where 40 years later that million's probably not going to be worth that much anyway. And is that when you're going to start enjoying your life, or you're just going to have a pension to retire on now? Who wants that? Instead, invest your time in the things that are actually going to make you money. Maybe not even right now, but later, in the future. So right now, if you have a regular job that you work in, you don't have that much extra money, and I'm telling you not to save money, don't actually go out and buy things that you don't need right now. But if it's something that's going to benefit you to get closer to your goals, if it's an investment into your own self, are you buying a course that's going to get you better at speaking skills because it's going to help you build a business or help you find a better job or score an interview? That's what's actually going to make you more money down the line. The simplest way to look at it is buy things that you need, and those things that you need should align with where you're going to achieve your goals. It's that simple. Don't wait for a date that they're on sale. Don't wait for coupons. Don't waste your time walking, trying to find a deal or searching online. All of that is a waste of energy and time. So we all know that time is not infinite, and that's very important. You hear that all the time. But so is your energy. Your brain capacity to make decisions and to think is set for the day. And the longer your day goes, the worse your decision-making ability becomes. So if I want to have a productive day, you best believe I'm not going to be filling my head with the price of fuel for today? Is it better to refuel in the morning or at night? I don't know. And I probably never will, because it doesn't matter. I'm not going to fill myself with those thoughts. Instead, my brain's going to reallocate those thoughts to things that actually matter. Because if you do this, in some time from now, the fuel price is not going to matter to you. The fact that something is $10 more expensive won't make a big deal. You won't even notice it. And if you do wait for certain times of the year where deals are better, let's say you're a construction company and it's the middle of the summer, but before you decide to take on any jobs, you decide to wait until Black Friday, which is in the winter, because that's going to save you a lot of money in tool costs. On the surface, that makes sense. But let's look at what's the actual cost of that. You could have done so many jobs by now. You could have hired people. You could have made so much more money with your business, gotten it to a higher state. But instead, you decided to wait for a better pricing opportunity and then start. That's a huge opportunity cost. You can't even calculate that. So the way it works for me is if I need something, I go and buy it. If it's going to serve me a purpose, I need to go and buy it. I'm not going to look at what time of year it is. I'm not going to look at the coupons. I'm not going to look at what price it is. I know I need this thing. Once you step into this level of thinking, it's only a matter of time before you actually stop looking at the price tags. You have to become the person that doesn't look at price tags before you actually are the person who doesn't look at price tags. So going back to the topic of this video, don't steal things, don't spend time gathering coupons, searching for deals, looking at the market pricing, because all those things are not certain and they're not consistent. What is certain, or a lot more certain, is the fact that you are going to invest in yourself and it's going to become a profitable investment for you in the future. That's what's more certain. And that's going to free up your brain from a lot of garbage thoughts about deals, discounts, coupons, and all of that trash. How many times have you seen people saving money and getting rich? Never. Never seen. It's always the poor people that you see saving the most money. How come they're the poorest then? Ask yourself that. People that are the most broke are always the people that know all the deals and all the discounts and the coupons. You can take it a step down. The homeless people always steal. That means their profit gain is unlimited because they always steal. Or they get handouts, yet they're on the street. You don't see them driving Lambos. So pay for your items. Be proud to purchase and to pay for things for the full price, the discounted price, whatever price it says. But be proud of it, even though it may sting your wallet at the moment. That's going to create a much greater need to make more money, to create that business, to get more cash flow. That's all. See ya.